And joining me now, Ron Vitiello, Senior Advisor to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Mr. Vitiello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to be with you.
Good to have you here. Help us break this down. We just heard Ali talk about these numbers and how border crossings are down. Is there a specific tactic or strategy you can point to that leads to such a dramatic drop in these illegal crossings?
Well, it's a leadership strategy. There's a commitment by the president, by folks like Tom Homan, the Secretary Noem, who you saw with our Border Patrol agents on the line yesterday. There's a commitment to securing the border and making America safe again. And that starts with securing the border in a way that prevents people from coming, right? So fortifying the border with our heroes from the Department of Defense, soldiers on the line, Mexico's commitment to keep smugglers at bay on their side of the border. And then that's led to a reduction of almost 100% of people that are stopped trying to come across the border, right? The encounters for the Border Patrol yesterday were 153. 75 of those people were prosecuted in federal court for their illegal entry or some other crime that they may have committed in their background. And so that message is being sent around the globe that if you try to cross the border, there are going to be consequences. And all the way up the chain of command to the Oval Office, people are committed to making this work.
And Mr. Vitiello, I think those images are also powerful of seeing immigrants handcuffed and being deported, like Mr. Trump said that he would do. The Trump administration plans to hold illegal immigrants and gang members at Gitmo. Now, that didn't work. They were all flown back. ICE is saying some facilities reach capacity. Here's Secretary Noem, and let's chat on the other side.
They were returned to create some space. We'll continue to move people around, but absolutely we're going to use the asset that is Guantanamo Bay. We've got a lot of facilities there, a lot of capacity there, and we're going to continue to use it, especially for these individuals that are so dangerous. So, we have other opportunities as well for other locations. It's not always the wisest to telegraph every tool that we're going to be going after and utilizing, but Guantanamo Bay is a key to making sure that we have the detention facilities we need for these dangerous individuals.
Mr. Vitiello, what's the next move here, and is Gitmo a feasible option?
Well, it's in all of the above strategy, right? ICE has just reported earlier today that they have record numbers of 287G agreements. That's with state and local law enforcement that allows them to work on ICE's behalf with the proper training to bring people who are illegally in the country who commit other crimes into ICE custody. So they have a full court press on obtaining additional space in detention centers. The military is assessing some of the assets that are already in play to upgrade them, to add to that. And Gitmo is on the table as well. It is probably the most famous detention center in all of the world. And so there are some specific capabilities that exist there that we're using for the worst of the worst, these trained Aragua gang members. And then there's additional capacity that's used on a day-to-day basis when people are apprehended at sea. They're brought into certain locations in Guantanamo Bay. So having the assets with local and state law enforcement helping, the men and women of ICE in the front line going out and finding the worst of the worst, and having the logistics and the capability on the back end to hold them safely. Aircraft being lent to us by the Department of Defense to remove people as quickly as possible. And as I said before, the Department of Justice is leaning in as well, making sure that those who continue to try to invade are being prosecuted for their criminal acts.
And I think those images are powerful, too, that if you are here illegally, they will find you. Ron Vitiello, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.